It was a quiet Sunday morning in March 2005 when police discovered the body of a woman lying face down near a river in Suffolk, England. Her name was Dawn Walker. She had been strangled, her body left out in the open, her clothes soaked and twisted. Case closed, or so they thought. Because over the next 20 years, Kevin Nunn never stopped claiming he was innocent. He wrote letters. He filed appeals. He said he was framed. And now, in a dramatic twist, new DNA technology may finally crack the truth wide open. Was Kevin Nunn wrongfully convicted for a crime he didn't commit? Or is he a manipulator playing the system, using public sympathy to escape justice? Why was there no forensic evidence linking him to the scene? And why did key witnesses change their stories years later? This is the case of Kevin Nunn, a man who may have been forgotten by the system, or may have fooled it entirely. Subscribe now. This is the Crime Vault, where we bring you real stories that haunt, shock, and challenge everything you think you know. Welcome to the Crime Vault. This is the channel where we don't just tell true crime stories. We go deeper into the evidence, the investigations, and the cold truths that justice sometimes leaves behind. Every case you hear here is real, raw, and unforgettable. If you're drawn to true crime that doesn't flinch, that asks the hard questions and tells the full story, then you're in the right place. Subscribe to my channel. This is the Crime Vault, and we bring you daily crime stories you'll never forget. Today, we go inside one of the UK's most controversial convictions, the case of Kevin Nunn, a man who has spent nearly 2 decades behind bars for a murder he says he didn't commit. But new DNA evidence could finally expose the truth. Stay with me as we go step by step through what really happened and why this case is far from over. On the morning of February 26, 2005, Suffolk police received a report that would alter the lives of 2 families forever. A man walking his dog had spotted something strange along the banks of the river bar, a still body, lying face down near a cluster of reeds. The woman was barefoot. Her clothing was soaked and misaligned. There were signs of a struggle, and though the body had been exposed to the elements overnight, signs of ligature strangulation were evident. She was soon identified as Dawn Walker, a 37-year-old mother of 2 from Berry Street, Edmonds. Dawn had been missing for less than 24 hours. Her disappearance was originally treated as a possible mental health crisis. She had recently gone through a breakup and was reportedly feeling overwhelmed. But when her body was found, the tone shifted drastically. This was no accident. According to police records, Dawn had last been seen with one man, her ex-boyfriend, Kevin Nunn. Kevin was a well-known figure in the area. He worked as a photographer and handyman, and had previously been in a long-term relationship with Dawn. But their breakup had reportedly been messy, involving arguments, jealousy, and emotional strain. Witnesses claimed Kevin had struggled to let go. Some said he was obsessed. Others said he still loved her deeply and was devastated by the split. Regardless of motive, he quickly became suspect number 1. Police brought Kevin in for questioning the same day the body was discovered. He denied everything. He claimed he hadn't seen Dawn that evening. But inconsistencies started to appear. His phone records placed him near the river at the time of her disappearance. His clothing, when tested, showed trace elements of soil that matched the riverbank. And most damning of all, there were witnesses who said they saw Kevin arguing with Dawn on the night she vanished. Kevin's story began to crumble under pressure. On March 2, 2005, just 4 days after Dawn's body was found, Kevin Nunn was formally charged with her murder. Subscribe to the Crime Vault, where true crime meets deep investigation every single day. Kevin Nunn's trial began in September 2006 at the Ipswich Crown Court. From the outset, the prosecution built their case around circumstantial evidence. They claimed Kevin's motive was jealousy, that he was obsessed with Dawn and couldn't handle their breakup. They said he snapped after a final argument and strangled her in a fit of rage before dumping her body by the river bar. But here's where the case becomes troubling. There was no physical evidence directly linking Kevin to the murder. No DNA, no fingerprints, no murder weapon. What they had instead were assumptions. Witnesses who claimed to have seen them together that night, but gave inconsistent timelines. Pause. Mobile phone pings that placed Kevin in the general area, but not at the scene. Trace soil particles on his shoes, similar to those found near the river, but no blood, no hair, no fibers from the victim. Still, the jury found him guilty. In October 2006, Kevin Nunn was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum term of 22 years. The courtroom gasped. Some of Dawn Walker's family wept with relief. Others, including members of Kevin's own family, were stunned. Kevin, he turned to the judge and said, "I did not kill Dawn. You've made a terrible mistake." Pause. Subscribe to the Crime Vault, for the stories justice didn't finish telling. Over the next 2 decades, Kevin Nunn never stopped fighting. From his cell in HMP Warren Hill, he wrote to lawyers, journalists, the Criminal Cases Review Commission, CCRC, anyone who would listen. In 2012, he made headlines again. He requested new forensic testing on items the police had recovered at the scene, including Dawn's clothing. He wanted a full DNA profile done with modern technology, which had advanced far beyond what was available in 2005. But the authorities refused. They argued that the conviction was safe and the cost of retesting was unnecessary. Kevin's supporters, however, kept pressing. They highlighted critical flaws in the original case, the lack of hard evidence, the changing witness accounts, the possibility of contamination at the evidence storage site. By 2018, his legal team had compiled a dossier with over 600 pages challenging the original verdict. And still, the courts refused to reopen the case. But Kevin kept going. As he put it in a prison interview, "If I stop fighting, then I admit guilt. And I'm not guilty." In early 2025, something changed. The CCRC announced that they would allow advanced DNA testing on Dawn Walker's clothing and belongings. This breakthrough came after years of campaigning, not just from Kevin's team, but from independent forensic scientists and human rights advocates. The testing is set to analyze skin cells, hair strands, and environmental transfer evidence using next-generation sequencing technology. If DNA from someone other than Kevin is found, or if his DNA is proven to be absent from key items, it could completely undermine the original conviction. The results are pending, but for the first time in 19 years, Kevin Nunn has hope. Meanwhile, Dawn Walker's family remains convinced the courts got it right. Her sister told the BBC, "We've been through enough." Kevin was convicted by a jury. This has to end. But in the court of public opinion, the tide is shifting. Documentaries, podcasts, legal analysis. And this video is part of that rising wave. Because now, a new question has emerged. What if the real killer was never caught? This case isn't over. Not even close. Whether Kevin Nunn is eventually exonerated or his conviction stands, one thing is clear. Justice should never fear re-examination. What do you think? Was Kevin Nunn a victim of police tunnel vision? A man jailed on flimsy evidence? Or did he commit the perfect crime and now wants to rewrite history? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to the Crime Vault for daily true crime deep dives that dig up the truth, no matter how long it's been buried. We'll be following this story as the DNA results are released, and if Kevin walks free, we'll bring you that update right here. Until next time, stay alert, stay curious, and stay safe.